And there's a lot of people that'll come by and we just chat.
Dude, that's one thing that I feel like you have done great in the safe business is you're always about community. That's what you've always been about your entire life, and always about community.
Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Weapon X Holsters. Quality handmade Kydex holsters made right here in southern Utah. You can stop by the store, 1397 West Sunset Boulevard, number 115 in St. George, Utah. Hey guys, welcome back to the Derick Legg podcast. We've got a cool episode today. It's going to be something a little different than what we normally do. I've got one of my best friends, Tyson Koford, here. I've always talked to him as my ride or die. That's what he is to me. We shot a kind of a commercial, a video. It's not even really a commercial. It's more of just a video of what our values are with my safe store, with Southern Utah Safe and Vault. So we're going to play that real quick right now, and then we're going to kind of break down the thought of the whole thing and how it came about, my role, Tyson's role, everyone else. There's kind of a lot going on there, so we're going to play that right now.
My people of this country, and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
All right, guys, so what did you think? Do some comments. Got my boy Tyson. We're going to break this whole thing down. I don't know. Welcome, Tyson.
Hey,
Tyson, how are you?
Thanks, guys. It's good to be here. Can't wait. Yeah. I think this is a cool podcast. Can't wait to see what.
So we kind of came up with this idea, and after we got done with the whole thing a few weeks ago, Tyson was like, dude, I've just had this idea, and he's right. Like, I'm not this guy because I like to put other people on the podcast, and it's really their episode, and we're talking about them. But Tyson, and he does all my marketing for people that don't know. I've said that a lot on here, but he does all my marketing, and he tells me, like, dude, you got to start wrapping some of our products and some of our businesses and let people, really, like listeners and stuff, know that we actually are out there selling products and stuff too. I'm not just
you do have a safe store.
So Southern Utah Safe and Vault, we're on Sunset Boulevard, right cross street from Taco Bell, for people that don't know. And Tyson and I just kind of have this creativity bomb that we like to set off every now and then. And we've done a few of these videos like this, and Tyson, and I've talked about this too, like Tyson's the whole reason the Derick Legg podcast exists. I tell the story of us sitting in, I can't even remember what it was. We're sitting in one of our trucks up on a hillside, just chatting, just kind of not even like complaining, but just like talking about life, And when we got done, it was one of those like connection, emotion. And like, I remember this part plain as day. You just looked at me and you're like, bro, you got to do a podcast one day. And I laughed at you and was like, yeah, I'm not that guy. Right. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the podcast comes from Tyson. A lot of the creativity that I have in my businesses and my life, everything. I'm usually running that stuff through Tyson, and he kind of blows it up for me. Anyway, so this video that we did, do you want to talk anything else on that?
Yeah, no, thanks.
That's
it
for
that. No,
I'm great. I know.
No, I think it's been both a growth for both of us. I think we've had this synergy that both have us both grow in our businesses as well as people, and really getting more out there, knowing how powerful the digital realm is. And, me always been into that all my life, and data driven and creation process and videographer, pictures, websites, all that creative process in the digital realm that I enjoy. And you've been my homie for a long time, and you're such an entrepreneurial spirit also. And such a good dude. There's a reason why you always want to make it about them in your podcast. But then I see that. I see how warming you are and the friendship that we have and who you really are. And dude, the world needs to see Derick. and so I'll never forget that conversation. And it's been awesome for your podcast and how many episodes you've been doing.
Yeah, dude, episode 120, bro.
Dude, I mean, I mean, and that just speaks of like the consistency that you need to do it. There's been many times you've been not sure if you wanted to do this anymore, but you kept pushing and kept doing, and it has grown your network so much.
Yeah, couldn't put a dollar amount on it.
Yeah.
So people that don't know, I mean, Tyson and I went to school together. We started hanging out quite a bit in high school, and so we've known each other since then. When he opened up his marketing company, I was just kind of doing
one of my
businesses in my basement.
First clients. Yeah.
I was just kind of trying to get something off the ground. And I thought, this is a lesson I've learned in business is when it's time to lean on other people and let the reins go, which is extremely hard for me. You just gotta let it go. So in the beginning, that's what it was with me and you. I'm like, dude, I don't know how to do websites. I don't know how to do social media marketing. I don't know, all SEOs. Right. I don't know any of that stuff. Right. You're going. So here, dude, here's my website. Right. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, it's interesting in my own journey within that. It's like, actually doing it, and that's so big that we hang ourselves up of like not doing it because we think we don't know how to do it. But like pushing through to learning how, and you gave me that opportunity to push through and learn how to do many of my talents and gifts, and you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Sometimes that gets me in trouble. It's gotten me in trouble in kind of partnerships in the past. And it was funny. I was talking to Blake the other day, Blake Norton, that's also one of the producers, and Mallory. Blake and Mallory are married for people that don't know. And when Mallory and I kind of kicked this whole thing off, she had started Blueform and we kind of molded it around the Derick Legg podcast, right? And now I was talking to Blake and another one of our guests the other day, and he was like, yeah, when Derick was just like, let's go, let's do this thing. He's like, I didn't know if he was just super trusting or if he was stupid. Yeah. And I was like, dude, it's one of my faults, but it's also created some of the best friendships that I could have ever had.
Yeah. No, it's so cool.
Okay, so that's all the fluff. So we've got the fluff out of the way.
Let's provide some value on how this co-creation process happens.
Okay, so for the video that we just showed you, I kind of always have my mind. I'm that guy that like when I watch commercials or listen to commercials, I'm like, how did they come up with that? Like, was there just some random dude in a board meeting that was like, oh, we should have, like, there's a Doritos commercial I always think about. There's like a guy going over to his girlfriend's house. His girlfriend has a kid and he's sitting there eating. He goes to grab a bag of Doritos and the kid slaps his hand away and he says, 2 rules, hands off my Doritos and hands off my mama.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
So I always think like, where did that come from? Like, how did that thought process go?
Right. Yeah. How that creation, how did somebody think of that to then have that be on TV at that moment?
Actually going.
Right.
And I think it was a Super Bowl commercial or something.
Yeah, it was.
But,
yeah.
So anyway, I always have these thought processes going through my head, and it's helped me a lot now. I mean, that's happened since I was a kid.
Right.
And now I'm like, okay, we can build these ideas off of anything, right? Like sky's the limit. Like there's no bounds. And we've kind of proven that with this. So, I mean, our first like real video that we did kind of like this was based around a Browning product that we had. Would you say that, or do you want to go back to the holster stuff?
I mean, dude, that was really the first stuff. I mean, with the holster stuff.
Yeah, so we did when I was doing I'm still doing Weapon X holster, but when we started doing like videos of that, Tyson would like force me to get in front of the camera, and it really took our business from like pictures to having the videos, and we were just goofy. Like we just tried to keep it light.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, if we kind of make it funny and stupid, then if it actually is stupid, like people will think it was supposed to be. Like that was my mindset kind of going into it. And we had a lot of good people, or a lot of people laugh and comment about, like we had the one at Rowdy's range where it was just the range and then I popped up from the bottom and I'm like, what's up? And like, so a lot of people commented on that, thought it was funny. And we just came up with these goofy things. But the Safe Store, we kind of did that Browning infomercial.
Yeah, we
setting.
did that. Yeah. The, was that the old store or the new one?
That's the current store.
The current store. And that was with like your Winky one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when we did that, like the funny thing is I've had that idea for like a decade.
The infomercial,
like an infomercial thing.
Yeah.
And where like we read off like side effects of buying a Browning safe.
Yeah.
And like I've had that idea with holsters forever. Like I was putting all these little things together about why you should buy this holster. But if you do, watch out for these side effects that it makes you more manly and whatever. And so when we did that, dude, I had this whole image in my head, this whole play-by-play of what it was going to look like. And when we got done shooting it, I was like, that was a bomb. Like I was like, delete everything. Like I had zero confidence that anything was going to come out of
you were
that.
doubtful. Like after you shoot it, you have the idea, and then it's like when we're shooting it, it's like kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like we have a set strategy, but oftentimes it doesn't work out.
Well, so the big learning experience for me on that was like stay fluid through it.
Right.
Have fun with it.
Right.
But really, dude, like I've always given the credit to you on all of that, because in that first video taught me that. Because when I left, I think I went up to Duck Creek, or I went out of town or something. I can't remember what I was doing. But we were trying to like hurry and get it all shot to get you the footage to work on it while I was out of town. And the crazy thing about you is your turnaround time with me. And I don't know how much you want to put that on other people, knowing how fast you turn this stuff around. If it's on my plate,
I want to get it done.
Yeah. And so like within a day or two, you shoot me this video, and I'm like, and I watched it, and I think Amanda was next to me, and I turned to Amanda and I'm like, holy shit, he knocked it out of the park. And I showed it to her, and we tweaked a few other things after. But so when we had the music video idea of the farm, when we went to the farm, that was a whole nother thing. Yeah. Like that was from scratch. Right. I feel like I had to follow up this video that's got 30,000 plus views on it. And I'd always had the one idea my whole life. I didn't have any more ideas. And that one really switched genres of music. We ended up writing the song ourselves. Jason, obviously, my brother Jason, helped us out a ton, wrote the music. We sat at his house one night and wrote the song. And the same thing, dude, we shot it, the whole thing in one day.
Yeah.
And so when this one came about, I'm trying to kind of backstory where my mind was. So when this one came about, there's a Tom McDonald. He's like an independent rapper, and he did a challenge on TikTok using his song, like their new song.
Yeah. So, like rappers, they like want you to use your music. And so they have these challenge like, hey, use this audio and shoot your own film. And then hashtag Tom McDonald. And then, then you gave the idea of like, dude, I think this, like, what if we could do something?
Well, so I went out, I was on the mail route, out on my post office contract route. And I'm not sure when I had heard the challenge thing. I don't know if I was just stopped for a second. Anyway, I saw the TikTok video and it just hit me. I was like, we could do this. Like we could do this. And he just kind of has him in like patriotic stuff. And then it's just a video, and there's like him on a tank and him like, and I mean, it's their music video that they cut up for this little post. And I thought like, dude, we could do this. We could do something kind of cool with this. And so immediately I called you, and I wear headphones on the route every day now, 'cause I'm like on and off the phone most of the day. And so I called you, and I'm like throwing mail.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I've got this crazy idea. And I've learned with me and how our process is, like if I just get it out of my head right when it comes into you, and then that's like where everything just starts growing, right? Like that's the incubator in my mind. And so I had the kind of the whole vision of it. And I thought, let's take that music video, the music that he had, let's implement it into the store, which we did. Like, again, if you weren't there, if you're on audio only, we'll have a link to the video that we did, so you can go and view it and kind of know what we're talking about. But I kind of had the whole idea, but I just kind of like verbal vomit to you, and there was no structure to it. There was no anything. It was just like, we could do A, B, C, D, E, and if we only end up with A and B, it'll still be cool. And and just kind of threw it up to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so from there it was, like for your safe business, right? So here we are, you've been in business for, 5 years, and here we are, we're wanting to do something unconventional. That's what we've always done. Here we are, we're talking about this music video that we've written, to then music, to then filming it, to then, launching it. And it's just one video. There's so much work that goes into just a minute and 30-second video, And then like, that got 22,000 views on YouTube. And so like, man, this stuff's really working. It's really giving you the brand recognition.
And everyone's like, dude, saw your video.
And how many people has come up to your brothers
Yeah.
and like saw you on YouTube? YouTube is really huge and it's underpriced attention for businesses. And so here you are, I have a business, and then you want to make what's something over the top, what's something unique and different. And then here you are saying, yeah, we should do this Tom McDonald new American flag song. And then I got thinking of like, well, here you have that big safe. That's how big is it?
What is it, 20 feet tall, 8 feet wide, something crazy.
And it's like that's your
12
brand.
feet. I think it's 12 feet
12
tall.
feet, 10,
Yeah.
12 feet. And it's like, how can we incorporate that into this music video?
Yeah, because everyone that comes by the store, like they don't even see the signs on the building.
No.
They see the yellow safe
It's
out
a
in the parking
complete your
lot.
brand. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're the safe store with the yellow safe.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know what our business name is.
No.
And they're good. I mean, they don't need to. So
That's branding to the T right there.
Well, another thing from this that I want to spin off of, because Troy, our champion rep, who's amazing,
Great
he's
guy.
actually been on the podcast.
Awesome guy.
He's the one that kind of like he praised me off of our creativity on those
Okay.
other two videos,
Right.
where he and we kind of knew this, but I hadn't put it in words like this. He was saying everybody in the safe industry is like 1/4-inch steel weighs 1,000 pounds. It's our fire rating.
Right.
You know, like the door is 3 inches thick.
Right.
But everybody does that because you think like, well, what else is there to say?
Right.
You know, it comes in blue and black. And when we had come up with those two other videos, it was just something different. Like it was a hook and it was something different. And so he came down for one of our sales that we did, and I showed him those videos, and he blasted it out to like every dealer he knew. He sent it to the CEO of the company. He did all this stuff, and it just made me think like, okay, we're onto something here.
Right.
And we had known that. Like the videos that we had done in the past were, it comes in black, comes in white, it's this much weight.
Yep.
And you kind of forced me into like, what's the story of Derick? What's the story of the store? What do we stand for? And that's kind of where this whole thing started getting built.
Right. Yeah. One thing I noticed about you, like you have these ideas and these creations processes, and you're just an ideas maker. And then I feed off of that. I'm an implementer. I like to implement that. And so when this creation process about this American flag video, and where you're talking about the safe, to then, why don't you tell them about our meeting at your house?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll kind of chronologically break this down. So I called Tyson, told him, get your mind going, like crank up your brain. Let's start thinking about this. I called my brother Mike, who was in our music video at the farm, the music video we wrote. And he was kind of the main character, and he did amazing in that. He really owned the role. So I was like, let's get him involved. So I called him, told him, and I think he introduced me to Tom McDonald. And so I called him, told him about the song. He knew about it. Told him to kind of get his brain thinking. And then I called my brother Jason, who is, I mean, we all just feed off each other, and we have for
Jason's the one who
20
created
years.
the song, your safe song.
And so I called everyone and just said, hey, this is the 1,000-foot view idea. Think about it. And then I was like, but I want this done yesterday, like I typically do. That's Tyson's favorite thing about me.
Yeah.
And so, in my mind, it was kind of a timely thing because the challenge was going on with Tom McDonald on TikTok. So I'm like, we got to get something in there fast. And it was in the middle of the week. So I thought, well, Sunday, let's get together. If everyone can come over to my house Sunday, we'll get some pizzas, we'll watch a football game, and just kind of start bouncing ideas and kind of storyboard this thing out. And this was maybe a Wednesday. So within the week, I think you and I had talked probably 10 times.
Idea making to then, okay, let's everybody meet literally in just a few days.
Yeah.
So what we're trying, the creation process of a beginning to thought to end finished product was super fast. And so Derick is trying to share just like the creation process and just the ideas making. And I just feel like you're so good at that. And I feel like you can provide value for your listeners on how you do it.
Well, I think the biggest thing is it's getting in front of the camera at the podcast. It's getting in front of the camera with your business. Everyone thinks that everyone's going to think they're dumb. or look stupid,
Right.
or
because they care about what
it's
other
all
people
in
think
themselves,
of it.
right? And breaking it's hard. I mean, I
It
was
is.
there. I've done
I
it.
get it. Yeah.
It's hard to like get in front of the camera, break that tension. You kind of realize that more people think it's cool than think it's stupid. And the people that think it's stupid typically aren't blowing you up anyway, at least me.
Yeah.
And so I'm used to it now. Like I said, we're episode 120. I'm all over the stuff. I'm all over the internet for ads. I'm all over the internet for the store.
Right. Yeah. You have built your personal brand.
Yeah. Dude, and I'll touch on that too. I'll write that down. So
we go to Derick's house. We have this meeting, and it's like it's like the meeting of just the creation process. Okay, so here's the strategy. Here's what we're kind of thinking. We want to incorporate the safe. Here's the song, but we need to like fill in the dots. Like, how do we want this? Okay, it talks about American flag. I mean, we're patriotic. So what kind of patriotism that we can show in this in this video? And then we're like, dude, we're funny. We love humor. And when your brothers and me and get together, I can't help not to always laugh.
Well, and I had this idea when this whole thing came apart. So let me back up a touch. When I saw the video, for some reason, like the Harlem Shake from like 10 years ago just kind of hit me.
Right.
And I was like, dude, we could do something hilarious where we marry the two. And that's really where the idea came from. And so I called all you guys, said, start thinking about what we can do. So we get together that Sunday, talk about the whole thing, storyboard the whole thing. On Monday, I order like $400 and something worth of costumes. And so we had all these different costumes coming. And then I started calling like everybody I knew. And I was like, hey, I need you. So that was on Sunday. We were planning on filming the following Saturday.
So yeah, the big thing part of it that listeners like understand is like, this is the first time that we've really involved other people outside, which brings us to a whole new level of creation process, right?
A whole new, somewhat of a struggle.
Yeah. There's challenges in doing it, right?
Like everyone was great. Don't get me wrong. It's not anyone else. It's just a lot more work.
It was the first time, really, in this, video making process that you and I have co-created. And, but like the idea of like having people come in, and we just thought it'd be so funny as people that dress up as certain iconic characters.
Yeah.
And so the big thing that I wanted to get into this video is culture. We wanted to show culture, because people can relate to culture emotionally. And that's why you see so many different, viral videos is off of culture. Culture is everything in marketing. And so, Donald Trump, total culture right now, right? Yep. Who else did we have?
Like George Washington.
George Washington,
we had
that's
an
right.
Eagle head.
Yeah.
We had that dinosaur. That little dinosaur costume
right,
thing was hilarious.
Yeah.
So that was like
awesome.
just funny.
Yeah.
Really just red, white, and blue everything.
Yeah. Where's Waldo? That was
Where's
my
Waldo? That was funny. And like Chrissy did a great job.
Oh, she did.
Dude, Chrissy and Walker, props to them, man.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't
Walker
tell them
did that,
anything.
like,
yeah, the little
dude,
arm
I was
roll.
like slow motion there. Oh, that was so good.
And so anyway, we're like Saturday, we're getting together. I'm calling everybody I know. And I was like, let's get like 50 people there. Like, let's just pack the store.
Yeah. I was like,
and like the next day, Tyson's like, maybe we should do like 15 or 20. And
50 people's a lot.
Well, and I was watching like Harlem Shake videos all week, like trying to get ideas on how to do it.
Right.
And there was a couple of them that were like super packed like that. And it was just too much.
Right.
Like no one had space to move. Like they were shoulder to shoulder.
They couldn't be that free and be themselves.
And like my showroom's like 100 or like 1,000 square feet. Plus, we're implementing
the safes,
the Champion, Superior, and American Rebel safes into all of that. And so I was like, we're not going to have as much room as I think we're going to have, which was smart that you brought that up to me.
I was like, dude, that's a lot of people. I know you like to go big, but let's bring it down a little bit.
Well, it ended up being good because I couldn't have got 50 people to show up.
No, I know. That's what was going through my head.
Yeah. And so when we did this, I'd sent like the American flag video, and I'd send a Harlem Shake video, and I'd say like, hey, this is kind of our idea. We're going to marry the two. We want people to dress up. Can you be there? Noon Saturday. Store will be closed. Right. Like it'll be easy we'll have food. And I mean, I thought we had the perfect amount of people, and I'm not
Yeah, it
sure
was
how many
perfect.
were there. 12, 15.
I'm not sure either. It was awesome. And thank you guys for showing
Yeah.
up, because I mean, these are the type of people that you text, hey man, I need you. Okay, I'm there.
I'm there.
Those were the type of people that showed up, you know.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what they're getting themselves into.
Well, like
that's for
Melissa,
sure.
we've had Azalea on the podcast. Melissa works with her. So I was going through the list of people I had coming, and it was all guys. And I was like, not that that's bad, but I'm like, this is a bunch of dudes. And so where my store's at, we have interior design. Is it still called interior design
It's
by
Interiors by Design.
Okay. So I walked down there. Azalea wasn't there. I was going to talk to her, but Melissa is, and Melissa's great too. So I told her like, hey, we have this idea. I don't know if you're and this was I think it was on Friday. And so I was like, I don't know what you're doing tomorrow.
That's Derick's MO.
Yeah. And she's like, we're there. We're totally there. So her and a friend came. That was the cheerleader. And I think she had a big top hat on, red shirt, top hat. But so they kind of brought some female side to it, and they had ideas through the whole thing. And then Chrissy and Walker, dude, I was like, what are you guys doing today at noon? I think it was that morning.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, nothing. What do you got? And I'm like, I need your help at the store. We're shooting a little commercial. I just need some extras.
Yeah.
And so he's like, we're down.
Yeah.
So they show up. And I show them what we're doing, dude. And the look on Chrissy's face, I was like, she's going to murder me.
She's like, what did you get my email into? But yeah, I mean, getting people like to get dressed up, that was a little bit of a challenge, just because a lot of times they were kind of like uncomfortable because they didn't know, each other a whole lot.
Right.
So getting them a little bit more comfortable. Finally, when they went into character, they kind of came out a little bit more. And that was fun. That was truly fun to watch everybody dress up and play like that, and they loved it too.
Well, and then we got to mention Alex.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So Alex, the star, after the beat drops and we flash to the store, Alex owned it, dude.
So Alex is the one that dressed up in the
red, white, and blue paint with the Speedo.
And then he rocked it, dude. And one scene that's in the video that we implemented in the Tom McDonald is if you watch that American Flag video, his song video, he does this little whip with the flag, and then he's in different costume and it's dressed up as American flag. So I was like, dude, that's a cool like transition.
Right.
And so then, one thing leads to another. At the very end of the making the video, I was like, dude, Alex, could you do this for me and whip it?
So before that, the idea was I would whip it.
Right.
Yeah. So I was going to whip
not a very
the flag.
good whipper.
Yeah, apparently not. and so we had recorded it that I whipped it and then put the flag behind me. And then for whatever reason, I just stepped out of the view of the camera. Yeah. And then I was just standing out there, like making sure everyone was doing what they were supposed to be doing. And then I was like, I guess I should probably be in there too.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of funny how that whole thing worked out, because then I didn't even sit there and act a fool and dance like everyone else did.
Yeah, it was worked out perfect.
But then, at the end of filming all of that, Tyson just shot some, I was thinking he's just shooting some B-roll stuff, right? And he had Alex whip the flag and dance. And then when you sent me that video, I was like, that was completely the right move to have him do that.
Yeah, it just caught. I mean, it makes you want to look away, but not.
Yeah, it's like, it was like that. Whoa, like kind of that. Yeah. That you're gonna remember that. Like if you just see Derick standing there with the vest on.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not. so it's just like creating these videos and making just such a unique approach, right? Like, when we got other people involved, and then by the end of it, like I had all this film and I wasn't quite sure what to do with it, you know? And then we still needed to film a little bit more.
Yeah.
So the first day, we filmed all these people, and then we had this idea to use the safe.
Yeah, so we were trying to take the safe out to the armory. So my brother Mike was in the Triple Deuce National Guard Reserve. And so he had gone out there a couple times after work and no one was there. And we were trying to have some tanks and some howitzers and Hummers and deuce and a halves and stuff behind us.
Yeah, tanks? How cool would that be, right?
Dude, you can't beat that. And so I ended up making a bunch of phone calls. We had a buddy help us out to get a couple numbers, and I ended up getting a hold of a couple of the guys out there, and they were like, nah, dude, this isn't even possible. This is like a process.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
You need permits, Derick.
Yeah. And we found that out later too. And so he was like, yeah, we got to run this up the chain. They have to approve it. And So I was like, okay, well, that's not going to work. So I put on Facebook, like, hey, who has military vehicles? Like, we need some military vehicles, Humvees, whatever. And within like minutes, dude. And this is what's cool about, and the podcast was part of the network that reached out to me, is people I've connected through the podcast
looking for an armored vehicle because we wanted to incorporate some type of military vehicle in it.
Yeah. And Andrew ended up reaching out to me on Facebook, and I knew Rough and Judd, who's also been on the podcast.
Yeah.
That was Rough and Judd's Hummer, and he sold it to Andrew. And so Andrew had reached out, and again, dude, Rustin Staley, he was the one that had tagged Andrew. And so like all of these connections were
network. So posting on social media, you ended up getting what you wanted.
Yeah.
And you put yourself out there and asked.
Right.
And you received.
And so we end up lining up Andrew, and our idea was like, hey, let's go to Sand Hollow. We'll have the lake behind us, sand dunes. Like, we'll take it from a couple different angles.
Yeah.
Depending on the sun. And then
Sand Hollow would be so sick.
Yeah. Tyson reached out to some connections, and Utah Sparklers ended up sending us some smoke bombs. And so it was kind of cool, dude. I hadn't really never put that together. It was really just all these connections that made all this come together.
I mean, that's the big thing, that part of you that I've noticed with you is you're such a big networker because of who you are, you know, and people like you, your relationships, how you are warm. And so that's a huge thing that you are good at.
Well, and it makes all this stuff a lot easier. So we end up getting with Andrew. I'm working like 4 jobs right now. I was running from one place to another, late to another. And I tell Andrew, hey, meet us out at the Sand Hollow. Tyson, meet us out at Sand Hollow. I was bringing my mom with me. My mom shot a bunch of like like in the background.
Right. Just kind of behind the scenes of shooting film. Yep.
And so I hook up to the safe trailer that people see out in front of the store, and I start pulling away, and I check the tires, and one tire's like 0 PSI.
Flat.
And the thing hasn't moved for 4 years. So like, I've never even looked at it. And I thought like, oh my gosh, dude, those guys are already on their way out there. Yeah. I'm across town. I mean, I'm 20, 25 minutes
about
away.
30 minutes out.
And so I pull up to St. George Transmission that's right next to me, and they air them up, and they're like, dude, like, I don't know if I drive this over there.
You got a big ass safe.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I don't really have a choice. So I just sent it. And dude, like 10 years ago, I never would have done that.
Right.
And so like, I tell my mom's like, are we going to be okay? I'm like, I freaking hope so. And I have William with me. Right. So I've got William in the back seat.
Yeah.
And we head out to Sand Hollow. So we get out to Sand Hollow. I'm pulling through like the little gate, and I've got this 10-foot yellow safe behind me. And the guy's like, hey, how's it going? And I was like, good. And he's like, what are you guys doing today? And I was like, oh, we're just going to take some pictures of this safe. And he's like, oh, well, do you have a permit? And I was like, what do I need a permit for? Like, I'm just taking a couple pictures. And he's like, well, if you advertise any of this for your business, you have to have a permit. And I was like, he's like, is it for your business? And I'm like, well, if I say no, does that change things? And he was like, yeah, if it's for personal, like, I can't stop you, but if it's for a business, you need a permit. And I was like, well, it's for personal. And he was like, come on, dude. Like, this is it. And so we kind of had this back and forth for a second. And he's like, do you want me to call a ranger? And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, let's see if we can, because I already have Tyson and the Hummer. Yeah,
we're already
there.
waiting. So the Hummer, and then the time of day is important, right? So we were like towards the end. I wanted it to be like a good lighting.
Dusk.
And it was already like pushing
and
it.
Tyson's calling me, and I'm like, bro, they're stopping me at the gate.
Hurry up, bro. Do you not see where the sun's at?
And so long story short, they end up telling me we can't take the safe in. And so Tyson's like, well, dude, just drive up the road. There's a dirt road. You'll still see the lake. Let's just shoot it there. And so I head up the road. They come follow me. I pull over on a little spot where we could, and it's sand. And so I'm like, I don't know how deep into this we want to get this safe.
Yeah, it's sketchy with sand.
And so then we had the idea of like, let's pull the safe up. I'll drop it off my truck. We'll pull the Hummer up to it and kind of have it like the Hummer's pulling the safe, right? And dude, and all that went quick. Boom, 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 boom. It was like, light the smoke bombs, get this, shoot that, grab your flag. And the idea was, again, like the idea was is we were going to flash back and forth from like to the store, back to the lake scene, back to the store, back to the lake scene at the beginning. And that's what I think is cool about all this is like, I get pretty set on one vision. And then once all that footage goes to Tyson, it's just like, my hands are off on this. Like I I have input at the end, but through that process, I mean, Tyson just runs with it. So yeah, we lit smoke bombs, we waved the flag, sun's going down, razors are driving past us, cars are driving past us. I've got this 10-foot flag out there swinging it around. My arms are destroyed.
Oh, dude, you were so beat after that. How long I had you wait.
And like we did a bunch and the other thing is that people need to understand, like, how many hours of footage do we have at this point?
A lot.
Like, what do you think? 6-7 hours?
Probably.
And so there's a ton of footage for Tyson to go through. So we kind of wrap it up. Tell Andrew, my new best friend with a Hummer, and William loved it. William keeps on. He to this day he'll tell you it's the zombie truck is what he calls it. And so he rolls, and I just tell Tyson, like, dude, good luck. Let me know how fast. There's a ton of stuff to go through. I know there's a ton of footage. And yeah, we're 36 hours. You send a video back to me.
Yeah.
So again, other people, if you use Tyson, don't expect that turnaround. But yeah, so I mean, I think it was the next day, if not the next morning.
Yeah. I mean,
you shoot it back to me, dude. And it's always like I get excited because I'm like, from the other 2 videos, I know what my vision is, and I don't have a clue what I'm gonna be viewing when I start that video, right? And so that video comes through, and there's so many things that got changed from the original vision to the end. Like the storyline kind of stayed the same, right? And like how we shot it, we kind of knew the sequence we were going to shoot it in. But when it gets done, and you're always like, it's not finished, feedback, yada, yada.
No, you can't post it yet.
Yeah, and I'm like wanting to send it to everybody. And I was like, dude, you killed it. That's it. Like, you killed it. And so that's the important part of this, though, is there's a visionary, there's the implementer, there's the final result, there's tweaks.
Challenges.
Yeah, there was a lot of challenges, permits, changed a lot of plans. We were fluid through the whole, shooting all the scenes. The whole thing was fluid. Like a funny part, when we're filming like the everyone dancing funny at the store, like we had other music playing too, just to try and loosen people up to kind of go through it,
Yeah.
But yeah, we can kind of wrap this part up and get into the meat and potatoes if you want, but
yeah, no, I'd say, I mean, just the story of it, like the biggest thing why, we wanted to talk about this is this like the creation process that takes from idea to filming to then post it on the digital realm. I believe that the digital realm is one of the most important things in your business. The digital sphere is like, that's where everybody's attention is. And you try to find where the underpriced attention is. And so YouTube or Facebook Reels or, like making those specific contents for those specific platforms, and create audio and culture through that to then let's see what kind of awareness we can create for your business. That's the number one thing. Yeah. And to approach it differently and uniquely. So yeah, I mean, it's like, I enjoy that creative process. I enjoy getting in front of people, communicating, making my idea into a reality. And there's so many failures in it. There's like, being an entrepreneur is just a bunch of micro failures all the time. And this was a testament to from idea challenges to end result. I mean, literally, how long did it take? A week?
Yeah. From idea to having the whole thing done and edited, we were like a week and a half max. And the largest part of that was like just trying to find people that'll come and do it.
Right.
And so we pushed it out a week to try and line up enough of people. Yeah, dude, the reason we're kind of going through a lot of this, I've had people ask me like, where do you even come up with this? Like, how does this happen? And the first part of it is like actually doing it, like starting, right? That's always the first thing. It's stupid answer, but that's where the majority of people get held up, is just doing it. And there's a ton of B-roll, a ton of video involved. Like I said, hours and hours. And then my mom had the back scene. Why can't I say that word?
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. My mom had like all the behind the scenes footage that Tyson also has. And that's cool too, because that's going to come out in a little bit, where it's like, hey, this was the video we did, this was the finished product, and this is how it happened.
Yeah, right now, behind the scenes is super important. If you notice like some big networks, let's just say ABC, you notice like when they interview someone, they'll always have a shot behind the scenes one way or another, and then the close-up scenes. There's just something about when people watch it, they want to know behind the scenes. And so I'm really glad that your mom did that, and I just want to like do that more. If you own a business, do behind the scenes content, because it does well.
Well, they had the Rise event that the Chamber of Commerce put on, and McCrae Hepler talked, and it was funny, dude. They had like this little blooper reel of when he does his What's Going On in Southern Utah.
Yeah.
And it was like all these bloopers of him being like, hey, it's McCrae over in, oh, freak, dude, I freaking screwed that up.
Where am I at again?
Dude, it was amazing. Like this whole reel that they put together of all
these bloopers, and it did great.
And that smashed, dude.
Right.
So that, and we've kind of done that too. We had a blooper at the farms.
Like in our first, the bloopers of the farm. That's right. And bloopers of your Weapon X too. Yeah.
And so that's part of it, man. Like people get scared, they back out. You just got to start. So first thing, you got to start. I think second thing is you got to have a team of people that do this kind of stuff.
Right.
Like Tyson checks a lot of those boxes for me. And so I'm lucky that way. Like Mallory with the podcast, she checks all of the boxes. Like I sit down with a guest, Mallory fulfills everything else. So you got to kind of have a team, and you have to be able to take your hands off of it a little bit.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing I watch business owners go through is like understanding, like it's your self-awareness, like understanding what you're good at and what you're not. And I think a lot of times entrepreneurs struggle with that. Business owners struggle with that because it's their baby.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. You raise this baby
but if
from
they can
nothing.
do a 70% good enough job, they're worth it.
Yeah.
And it's just that self-awareness of understanding, like, this is where my zone is. I want to have help on this side of things. And that's exactly what you did with me.
Well, it's easier for me because I don't have a clue where to even start. And you were already down that road.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So now we're going to kind of move into the benefits, why someone would do this, why businesses should do it, why I even, like in the podcast, like Blue Form's doing 10 different podcasts now, I think.
They're doing amazing.
And a lot of those, or not a lot, but there's a few of those that were people on here. And I was like, dude, you've got to start this. Like, you've got to start building that self-aware for social media, to have that self-awareness of who you are and build that brand around yourself.
Right.
And that's really, like, again, I love pumping up Blue Form because of what they've done for me. But it's like, dude, just come in, record, shut up, and let them build a brand for you. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
In any marketing, that's how it is. That's what it is for you with my businesses. That's what it is for Blue Form with the podcast. And so do you have numbers with you on what we've done, or can you at least just spitball averages?
Like on data or what? Like,
I'm just thinking, like, to kind of give everyone an idea. Like if you can pull up, I don't know what you have with you. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but.
So I guess so the big thing with you, what we've done is, so we knew with YouTube was a huge opportunity, right? There's just so much consumption on YouTube. So that's where I'm like, dude, Derick, we need to do some YouTube stuff.
So there's a couple things to that. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like now you've explained to me it's a cheaper platform to be on, and we've proven that.
Right.
And then with the holsters and some of the safes, like we've gotten censored quite a bit because of the Second Amendment.
When you say gun, right.
Yeah. And so we've kind of had to be careful of what we even say on any platform.
Yeah.
And so YouTube was our go-to with that because it's always been allowed. We've never had a problem with it. Anything else? Okay, go ahead.
So I guess the biggest thing is like the angle of it, of like, okay, where's your ideal target audience and what platform are they consuming on? It was YouTube. And so then from there, it's like, what can we then, create content that's entertaining and valuable, as well as we always threw kind of an offer of like, hey, here's an offer to come into my store that can exchange value to get you to my store.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's, we just consumed or posted on YouTube. And so we've gotten 22,000 views on the music video that we did, 34,000 views on the video that you're talking about with the infomercial. And so there's 18,000 views, 2,500 views, 5,000 views. So,
and this one, we're like kind of launching it now. So we don't really have numbers yet.
We don't really. That's the thing, it's like you got to start and continue to produce content, right?
Yeah.
Like good quality content.
Consistency.
And it's hard, man. It's not the easiest thing to because you got a million things going on in your business. You know, sometimes like posting on social media is the last thing that you want to do. But then for me as a marketing person, I see the results it creates for you. I see how many people talk about your business watching a YouTube.
Yeah.
And so have you. It's just the consumption is so much and the opportunity is just right in front of their face.
But would you say with different businesses, it's different platforms?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, do you have an example of Facebook or Instagram that you would say someone else gets better traction than I do?
Well, it just depends on the person, right? Like what they're offering, right? And so like for you have it's like for your safe business, it's that product, secure, safe. It's just a specific niche, right? So then it's like, okay, what is your age group? And then our TikTok's huge. TikTok's great.
Yeah, like our podcast kills it on TikTok.
TikTok's fantastic. That's in the like 3-4 years ago. It was so underpriced. Now it's more. So it's like sometimes there's those new social media platforms you can hop on and gain that traction.
What Snapchat's it right now?
Snapchat ads. Yeah, you think Snapchat is mostly for young people, but really
it's like sending nudies back and forth, right?
A lot of kids talk to their parents on Snapchat. They Snapchat each other. And so a lot of older generations on Snapchat because of that. And so there's an opportunity there that I say some business should definitely look on. LinkedIn. LinkedIn is actually really good too because you think LinkedIn is a business recruiter. But what you do at LinkedIn is like you run LinkedIn ads to employees of the business you want to market to. And so, when the employee sees it and then tells their boss and the boss tells, so on and so forth, it eventually goes up because, and if they're hearing it for 2 or 3 employees, that it makes it's
more credible.
Yeah, it's more credible as well as conversions better. But LinkedIn is actually really good. So like look at that. Facebook Reels is where it's at. I mean, we did this this video on Facebook Reels, and one post got 1,100 views, and 46% of those views were non-followers.
Right.
So Reels makes a great reach of non-followers.
Well, it's like how are people consuming, right? Like that's
that's where. Yep.
Most people aren't. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would imagine most people aren't just scrolling Facebook anymore. Like I don't. Like my
it's
Facebook
Reels,
is like
and Shorts,
the
YouTube
marketplace and people's family photos.
Right.
Like that's all that's on there.
Yep.
And so there's now it's like you kind of have to stay ahead of that curve on knowing what the new social media platforms are, on knowing, and they're adjusting stuff every day. And is it even possible to keep up with their algorithms? How they're all changing all the time?
But man, it is like, dude,
it's a full-time job.
So much. I mean, it's like to keep up with algorithms. It's like you're testing your own stuff.
Yeah.
It's like with you and your business. How many times have we through something continue after time after time after time, see what works, see what doesn't?
Yeah.
Like always, all the time. And then when we find something, because then we have the data. Data is so important that most business owners just look over.
So people need to understand this. Like when you're going to get into something new, whether that's radio, whether that's paper ads, whether that's social media ads, like you've got to give it some time. Like if you're going to get into it, you have to let it gain some traction. Yep. If you do it for a month and then be like, there's no results and pull it, like you've got to give it some time.
Yep.
And I think like radio, TV, if you're doing printed ads, like those are probably longer depending on your industry, at least in my experience. Social media is where we've been at and anything I've been in.
Yeah, that's where most people is at. Social media is just killing it. And the awesome thing, like when you have a social media account, so your business account, Southern Utah, Safe and Volt. So we have this business account. We've had it for how many ever years. Now, every time that somebody looks at your page, likes, comments, or shares a post, even just clicking on it, you have that data now that you can run your ads, and that's what we've been doing. So everybody that's viewing your Facebook profile, we know those at least know you to then market to, and those would be the best way to convert.
Right.
And so that's like a key thing with social media that a lot of entrepreneurs don't know is like when you have a business profile, you can use that data of your likes, of all the people who comment, visited. Same thing with your website. Like how I built your website, I have Google Analytics. So when I have Google Analytics on your website and all the people that have landed on your website, click different pages. Now when we run YouTube ads, we can then use that data and then market to the people who landed on your website. So now people are on social media, click off to go to Google, and then click off to go to Google to then YouTube. It's all, we can market to all of them from that behavior.
Well, it's wild how much it tracks everybody. It's like, how do I even how did I even capture this information? When you're like, if you're not familiar with it, like I wasn't, and you go start looking at that, and not only can you see like every step where they navigated through your website or whatever it is, then it's like, well, they also have interests in hiking, and they have interests in hunting.
It tells you the behavior of interests, right?
And so so again, like gaining all of that data is, I mean, that's where you start. You have to have that. But then being able to have someone with the knowledge to retarget all of that, if I'm saying that right, like to retarget all those ads, and then you start, like, I hate the word funnel because I think it has like such a bad reputation on like sales funnels, but then you can start like walking the customer through the story, right? It's like you saw it once, you clicked on it. Okay, well, now we have like a little more information on us. Oh, well, we saw you click on a Fort Knox one.
Right.
Okay, well, here's a little video about Fort Knox, and we're going to point that at you. And then, well, hey, we're doing a discount for Veterans Day or whatever, right? And you can sit there and keep on like walking the person through the sales process. Yeah,
that's where like it's just like with business owners are so busy, and then this digital thing is just so overwhelming. Like what you're talking about, what I'm explaining, I can be so overwhelming sometimes, you know, just the massive amounts of just the studying that I've done, right? And so, but to do this remarketing aspects, one of the most important things that we've done in your business, to remarket to your clients, your previous clients, those who visited on your website, as well as send emails, send text messages. So when you're doing you do your you give away safe,
like our tent sales,
a tent sell giveaway safe. Now that's been big for you with, you know, giving away a safe, as well as other businesses get involved, give away other things. I mean, that's been...
Well, and if you're not, like, I wasn't even tracking, like I didn't even have a CRM that kept track of all that until you got me built into all that. So, like, having the CRM is important because you can retarget those people, or not even like, again, dude, retarget, I don't even like that. It's like, we're just
keeping track of it.
We're just letting you know.
Owners don't keep track of, like, they still just use their phone and text messages and their memory to, like, to do, and things fall in between the cracks.
And I did that for a decade.
And so having a CRM that can actually tell you, okay, here's notes on this individual. They actually came from organic, or this actually came from a Facebook ad. So I know that this person actually came from a Facebook ad, knows that my Facebook ads are working, because now I have a client from it.
Well, what I used to do in my phone, and like to this day, you can go through my phone and there'll be people like this. It'll say, when I was building holsters, it would say Tyson Glock 19. And then when you called me, like if you just, and we're not buddies, right? You were a customer at some point. I've never talked to you since. And you call me 2 years later looking for another holster, and I'm like, Tyson, what's up, man? How's that Glock 19 holster doing for you? And like, I couldn't pick you out of a lineup, but like keeping those notes and stuff. I mean, that's a little trick I learned, and I did that for years. And people would be like, Derick, what's up, man?
You know, remember my name?
And so keeping those notes in that, and then it just evolves into that CRM. So that's extremely important when we're really just like checking back in with people. We're just trying to stay top of mind awareness when it comes to the safe store. Like, we're not even pointing, like, we know we're not going to sell everybody every day. It's not a product that a lot of people don't even buy it twice.
Nah. Yeah.
And so we're just trying to, like, hey, we're still here. We're having a barbecue. Come swing by, say hi. You know, like, and there's a lot of people that'll come by and we just chat.
Dude, that's one thing that I feel like you have done great in the safe business is you're always about community. That's what you've always been about your entire life, and always about community. And so one thing that you've consistently done in your business is having those free, you know, those tent sales have free food.
Yeah.
And people can come by, and they're not going to buy a safe, but they're going to see your business, and then they're going to share about where they got their free food. And that
cost me what? $200?
Yeah. That's like, so worth it, because that's the best type of advertising still, I believe, is the word of mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's coming from a marketing guy.
It's human behavior.
But so it's like that, like, again, it's like that CRM, and then it goes to tracking all these people on your social medias to be able to have interactions with them again down the road. And being able to see that and know that, like, and I'll be honest, I don't know any of that. Like Tyson takes care of it for me, right? When we want to do an ad, if there is a question, it's like, do we want to split test this between 40-year-olds and 30-year-olds? Like that's the questions I get asked from Tyson. But having all that stuff and being a business owner, there's levels to this though, man. Like I want to touch on this too. There's levels to this. Like if you're like I was doing holsters out of my basement, you probably can't afford to have someone do a lot of this stuff.
And I got
you
some
got to
stuff
find
to
someone
say
at a
to
lower
that,
level
like for those that are in that position too, to help them.
And then, and that's where I was, and I built up from that. And there's still times where I'm like, gosh, I don't know if I can afford all this.
Right.
And like when we did all those costumes, I mean, dude, I was like taking gas money away from my other jobs to pay for those costumes.
Right. You were risk. It was a lot of risk.
Yeah. And go ahead. I'll let you jump in.
Yeah. So, I get a lot asked when people are just starting a business. I'm like, where should I go in the digital realm? What will help me the most? And this is what I usually say, and I just want to provide value. Like, if you don't have any money, this is what I would do first off. So for me, I do search engine optimization, which means that I build websites that then get found on Google. So I know how Google works with websites. So I've been in that realm for a minute. And one of the most potent things you can do on Google is your Google My Business profile, or it's called Google Business Profile. And they're for free. You can get them for free. You just put your name in it and then address, and then Google will verify you. And then now you have a Google business profile. And essentially, so those that don't know about it, when you search coffee shops in St. George and then look at what brings up, there's a map, a Google map, and then there's 3 listings. And on those listings, we'll have business's name, address, and the most importantly, the reviews. And so that's what I'm talking about, creating one of those. And so
those don't just come up by themselves. Like someone puts those together.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to create that and claim your own business. And another key thing I would say is keyword your title, like what people are searching for. So your product or service. So what you think that they might search for. Obviously, put your business's name, but be maybe creative of what kind of
safes, gun safes.
Right. So when somebody's typing on Google gun safes, then that's in your title next to your business name, then Google thinks you're searching for that specific business, and so then you'll rank. So it's a little hack there. And then you got your Google My Business. Add photos is key. Make sure you add 10 to 15 different photos. And then you can actually do posts. You can post on these Google listings. So you can like post if you have offers, post them. If you maybe just opening, post them. And so it does help your Google like you a little bit better when you use their product more. So that's just the big thing. Like Google My Business, if you're first starting, do a Google My Business. Search how on YouTube how to create one. And then reviews. Reviews is one, like our buddy Alex, okay? I built him a website and then a Google My Business listing. A month later, he got like 15 reviews, and now he's ranking up next to TJ Trailer Rental, which they've been here forever.
Yeah.
Right next to them and above them in some spots, right? Because he got those reviews.
Right. Because you're having people interact with Google more.
Yeah, it's super important. So I just wanted to head that tidbit, just like provide value.
I think another thing on that review side is, dude, add incentives for people to leave your reviews.
And leave reviews.
And
yeah,
like
absolutely.
something that we do is we send, and I got this from Andy Frisella, like we write handwritten cards. So when people buy safes from us, we have a handwritten card. And on the back of that card, there's a QR code that takes you to our Google reviews. And it says like, hey, if you were happy with our service, And I mean, I sit there at the end of hours some days writing those cards out. Like that's a real thing that we do. And then we've done like, hey, 5%, like if you've left us a review, 5% off when we were doing holsters and whatnot.
Right.
And so like have an incentive. I've even seen people that are like, get 5% off today, leave us a review. And they just have a thing sitting right there at their checkout.
That's the thing, right? Like, so as a business owner, you want more reviews. How do you get those, right?
Yeah.
So I have this software that has like many different softwares in one software, what you were just talking about with the CRM that you have.
Yep.
One of the things it does is sends out customers review requests, which is killer and awesome. And one of my clients did, she sends out an email to all of her clients saying that, if you leave a review, you'll be drawn in to get a gift card.
Smart.
And then by October, create a deadline. I think is by end of October, she said. She got like 5 views, boom, right off the bat from it, right? And it's just so important to get those reviews on your Google My Business because that's how people make decisions nowadays. Well, they read reviews.
I think the Modern Warrior does. Now that I'm saying this, I think it might be social media follows, but it's either social media follows or reviews, and then you're entered into $100 drawing every month. And so, like, if you go on there and follow them or whatever, so like little things like that, it costs you $100, and it might talk 50 people into coming and shopping with you.
Right.
Like it's $100.
Right.
And like we've kind of done little gift cards and little, like I'm playing around with another software, that Gleam software. A little
that's
bit.
Great. With contests.
So there's a lot of ways to do this stuff. Like you don't have to be extremely smart, super rich, anything.
No. The biggest thing is just like when you're just starting out and like know the digital realm can help you. And social media is number one, I would say.
And get in front of the camera.
Get in front of a camera. And just the biggest thing is like just know yourself. What are you passionate about? What lights you up when you communicate? So like with marketing for me, I light up. I get passionate about it, right? And so because I know my why is like that is one of the fastest ways to grow anything is through the digital realm. And then when you want to have that self-expression and film, just keep doing it. You don't need to post it. Just keep filming yourself and watch yourself. Just keep filming. Don't post it in the first, and then you'll refine your craft, and then boom, provide value is the biggest thing. Just value your best shit away for free.
Right. Yeah. Eric Thomas says you'll never be successful doing what you do until you do it for free.
Yep.
And it's kind of one of those things. It's like, you got to get out there. You got to put yourself out there. And so, dude, it was hard for me. I mean, I'm used to it now. So like, it doesn't really bother me now.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Like okay, so here you are, you have this podcast. We've been, shooting and filming. What results have you seen it done in your business and in your personal life with doing what you've been doing with filming?
So when we were doing holsters and then we kind of moved that into doing safes, it was funny because doing holsters, I did it for 8 years or something before we took on safes. And I was just the bearded holster guy. Like people didn't know my name. They just knew I was the holster guy. Like I'd walk into Rowdy's or Dixie Gun and Fish or Red Rock Defense at the time or Western Ammunition or whatever. Like people would just see me and, oh, that's the holster guy. Right. And having that let me back up. So before that, it was just like on my workbench with my cell phone, I would take a picture of a holster and post it. And like no one ever knew who I was. I had to get out in front of everything. Right. And then all of that just 10X's at the store when I start getting out in front of and doing videos. Hey, it's Derick here with this vault door. It's this size. It weighs this much. And it's like boring, but people saw me, right? And I hated it, dude. Again, like Tyson was like, you're the face of the business. You're the face of the business. And I was like, I don't want to be. Like that's just not the point. I don't want to be this guy.
Yeah, right.
And so eventually I just became like, and we were still shooting stuff. Even now we shoot stuff 4 or 5 times. Like that's fine.
Yeah, it's totally.
And again, like the podcast, like this is all recorded, right? And so, which takes a lot of pressure off people. So understand, like there's people out there and I've heard this, and if it's your jam, go for it. Like shoot it once, be yourself, be done with it. Like that's not what I do. People do that. So with me going to the safe store, all of a sudden I became like the face of the safe store. And depending on what your business model is, I think it could be good or bad. Like if you're ever wanting to hand that off to someone else or have a manager come in or sell the business, or like I'm kind of married to that safe store now because I think people that come in, and I know this because people that have worked for me there, it's like, hey, is Derick here? Like everything's Derick, which is fine because like that's my identity now is the store. And so I would start getting people being like, dude, that Browning video infomercial was hilarious. People would see me all the time on our post office routes. I'm 50 miles away from where I live, and people are like, saw you on YouTube. I was like, holy crap, that's my mailman.
Yeah,
right. And then when we got my brothers involved, it was all over there. And again, I wanted to mention this is that retargeting thing of it too. Because everyone's like, dude, you're all over the place now. And I'm like, well, we're just retargeting you. Yeah. like we are putting a lot of content out there, but it's because social media, it does it. And we are actively retargeting you.
Right.
And then this video now, I think we're going to get a lot of good response from it. But I've been to some of these conventions and stuff, coaching things, whatever, different things. And I'm getting to be known as the guy with the podcast.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to me because now I'm like, again, like this was never to like build this crazy Derick Legg brand. Like that was never the idea behind this. And people think that because it's named the Derick Legg podcast, but that's just because we didn't have like a thought of what our genre was going to be, right? It was just people. But yeah, walking around now, dude, it's funny because I grew up as Adam Legg's little brother, right? Like everyone knew Adam Legg's, you're Adam Legg's brother or you're Mike Legg's son. That's how people knew me. Or they'd be like, do you have brothers that live here? And I'm like, which one do you know? You know, because that might lead the direction or the conversation a different direction. And now it's like people are starting to know who I am. And that's because I'm in front of a camera and doing all this.
Right.
And and people want to, like, I've built these relationships with people, and there's people that I've never even met that know me now because I've put myself out in front of the camera, and we're 120 episodes. So we're at least 120 hours of stuff out there. And I know it's a lot more than that. Most episodes are an hour.
Right.
And I don't know, dude. I mean, it's a cool thing. That was an added benefit that I never planned on. I just never really thought about it. It wasn't the purpose.
One thing I do see though with you is, so like I always tell you, you're the face of your company. One thing though that I feel like you have is so here's your personal brand. Yeah, you talk about safes, but the nice thing though is that you're not necessarily married to that safe company because you can move, say for whatever reason you move on. Because you talked about them and you move on, people will follow you.
Yeah, I guess
that's one thing that
it'd be detrimental to the safe company if I left. Right. I guess is what I meant.
Absolutely, yeah. There's pros and cons to that. I get that side, but that's one thing though. You know that you when you do the videos and talk about your different passions or your businesses, you can move on to many different things, and you have that following, and that's what one thing you've built.
Well, having your personal brand is, I mean, that's what it is. That's why it's so important to do that.
Yeah.
Like I love referencing one of my good friends now, and a lot of that because of the podcast is Eric Gubler.
Yeah, he's
like
stud.
He had a moving company.
I butt dialed him the other day.
Yeah, it's like, but he had Kangaroo Moving, just moving company, and then he goes into real estate, and then he starts jumping on all, and he was actually doing like personal and business coaching. And they had challenged him to get on as many podcasts as you could. Uh-huh. So there's a little hack, guys. Like if you're trying to grow who you are, get more recognized in whatever you're trying to do in life, like get in front of people, get on these podcasts. So he went and got on all these podcasts. Now he's doing like his own little social media posts and podcasts. Now
sharing
he has
his knowledge on what he's learned with it.
Yeah. Now he's one of the biggest real estate agents in Southern Utah. And then he's his connections through like pickleball. He was a pro pickleball player. He met a guy that helped him get into, he just opened this huge storage facility. And all of that was because he just got out there. Like he put himself out there.
Yeah. I remember when he went in the safe store and just had the Kangaroo, and he still, I remember that. And he's grown so much.
Oh my gosh, dude, he's amazing.
Yeah.
I called him the other day. I mean, I typically call him when I need, I have a lot of people like this, but I've called him a few times because I view him as like way above me. And so I'll look at him and be like, I'm doing A, B, and C. What am I doing wrong? I'm trying to get Z outcome, and he's a couple times, dude, he's kind of set me in the right direction on, I know he'll be honest with me. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. I don't know, dude. I think anyone should be doing this. Like I said, I've had guests on here who I've told them like, dude, you're just this huge thing of knowledge and no one even knows who you are.
Right.
Like you need to get in front of the camera.
Right.
And there's been people that have been on my podcast that have now started other podcasts. Right. And I'm almost like, cool, man, I did my part. I'm checking out. This is your guys' train now, I don't know, dude. I think everyone should do it. If you're scared, shoot 20 videos, post the best one.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what I've noticed too with people, it's like, man, they really want to post.
Yeah.
And then I ask them, like, what's holding them back? And they're really deep down inside, it's just they care about what other people think of them. Because they attach to the positive, then when something negative comes, it just destroys them.
Yeah.
Because you post a picture on Facebook and, you know, people, oh, you're so beautiful. And then you attach to that. And then when somebody comments you're ugly, you're devastated.
Right. Destroys you.
And that's when why people don't.
Well, I think it's the thought of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like it rarely happens.
Yeah, exactly. and it's super deep too.
Yeah.
It's super.
Everyone wants to be
in
liked.
your subconscious. But like the biggest thing is like people are making, you know, like $250,000 talking about birdhouses on YouTube, bro.
Right.
Like, because this person is passionate about birdhouses, they started a YouTube channel and now they have sponsors and views and all sorts of things going for them because they're talked about what they're passionate about. And that's the number one thing in marketing that I try to get from you when we do a video is like that passion of who you are coming out, because the real stuff that I enjoy watching is what's truly authentic, honest, raw, and vulnerable. And that's the stuff that draws me. As well as a lot of people.
I had someone, and I wish I could recall who it was, and I don't remember who it was, but I was talking to them, and they asked me why I wasn't doing more of that stuff. And I was like, well, dude, I'm just a guy that hates people laughing at me. Like, I do not like being laughed at. Yeah. And he's like, who the hell likes being laughed at? and it kind of, like, I never thought about it that way. I was like, I don't know. There's other people that have the confidence to put themselves out there. They probably don't care. And it's like, you got to get to that point. You don't just flip the switch one day.
Right.
And I go back and look at the first few podcasts, and I had lined up guests on purpose that I knew I could carry a conversation with for the first few. And I go back and look at those, and I was fairly confident going into it because you kind of have to be to start, right? You have that fake confidence. And like we had mentioned before we jumped on, I used to watch all of those. Like right after they would post, I would watch the entire thing. I'd watch my movements, how I talked, how many times I said and like. And you start breaking that stuff down and you realize no one cares.
No one cares, man.
You think about it more than anyone else does.
Yep, you care more than anybody else. It's so true, man. It's funny how we do that.
Yeah. And so one of these days we're going to get Mallory on the podcast.
She's not going to come. I already know that.
I'm perfectly content in my office.
But the reason, like, the best people that need to be in front of a camera are, she's definitely one of the best people that needs to be in front of a camera.
She'll disagree all day. She's just going to cut this out.
That's how you know that they're the best person to be in front of the camera.
You guys are way too nice to me.
Anyway, dude, I think that kind of checks all the boxes that I was trying to get
essentially
across.
Just wrapping this up. I mean, it really is just, I just felt like we had something special with how me and Derick kind of co-create into, to thinking of it, to then making it, to then editing it, to then producing it, like to launch it, and then see what the main reason why we do is to get results. The main reason is to get people through the doors or to remember you, top of mind awareness. Right. And it works. And I think what makes us a little bit unique is, like I was mentioning, is just we have a different approach to it. And so I just wanted to, like, man, I feel like a great podcast would be to explain that process, have people understand what the creative process is, and then do it themselves, what lights them up to do it with them. And so that I can learn from you and you can learn from me. And that's what makes a better world.
Yeah. Do something out of the box. Do something that's catchy. I mean, that's what we've learned. And that's what we'll do moving forward. I don't think I'll ever get on a video and be like, again, like, this is 1/4-inch steel, weighs 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, because people don't care.
Yeah, nor do they know what a 1/4-inch steel is. Right. Or like when you're like, it's 10-gauge steel. Who the hell knows what 10-gauge steel is? Yeah,
but I like what we did in this video is just like, we had that symbolism of the security and safety in your business. Yeah. And it was only a few, like probably the whole video, a few seconds.
Well, and the other thing we'll see that we did different on this one is there's no offer. We're not trying to sell you anything. It's really like, hey, this is what the company stands for. This is what Derick stands for. This is what everyone in the video stands for. And that's what we're trying to put out there. It's not like, hey, check out this video and get 10% off until Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And if Tom could share it, Tom McDonald, that would be nice too.
Everyone tag Tom.
I mean, we worked hard on it, Tom.
I'll do this. Everyone share the video and tag Tom in it. All right, guys. So yeah, we just wanted to kind of take you through the process of how we do some of these videos, get Tyson on, talk some more marketing stuff. If you have any questions or want to connect with Tyson, it's Found Local Marketing.
Yeah.
Give your stuff so people can
so if you want to find me, you can go to my website, Found Local Marketing, or find my name, Tyson Koford. Message me on Facebook.
Ford,
yeah, it's
like
K-O
the car.
and the Ford like the vehicle. Some things I special is like web design. Not only that, I can get your website found on Google, and so I can help get customers through Google, social media, videography. I have a cool automation software that's like a CRM, send out review requests, can automate like your lead generation. So when somebody fills out a lead, you can text message them back, do text message marketing, email marketing. I do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I'm your guy. I'm your implementer. I can take ideas, nothing to create results from it.
Well, so like not to break anyone's hearts that think that it's me always texting them. We have a lot of automated text systems and email systems in the store or with this software in the store. And I can't tell you how many times we'll send out like a mass text and I'll have people be like, "Hey, Derick, thanks for thinking of me." And I'm like, "You got it, man."
Yeah. And we are compliant, FYI.
Yeah, there you go.
We are compliant with these text messages.
All right, guys, that's it. Tyson Koford.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
At least go follow him. He needs to do videos of himself more, but sometimes he jumps on there.
I made that one video behind the scenes.
I know, dude. He's always pushing me, and I'm like, "You freaking do it!"
It is so funny.
So Tyson Koford, Found Local Marketing. Like I said, he's done my stuff from day one, and one of my best friends in the world. So at least go follow him, if nothing else.
Yeah.
If you're not a business owner, go follow him. You can learn a bunch of stuff from this and everything that he posts. So that's it.
Thanks, guys.
Episode 120, bro. Thanks. And this is all Tyson's idea to kind of jump on here and talk through the process because we do get asked about it.
Hope it helped. Hope it provides some type of value. That's my biggest intent.
And if it didn't, tell us what would add value.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We'll cover
like,
that.
what could we do better?
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Well done.
She says that to every podcast, bro.